Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at my G1 Transformers Minibot Warpath. So sit back and enjoy, and as always don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Hey guys, M here from Transformers and Video Games, and welcome back to the channel. In anticipation of the release of the Walmart G1 reissue Warpath, I thought it would be fun to pull up my vintage figure and finally get around to reviewing it. Warpath is probably best remembered for his unusual style of speaking in the G1 cartoon, where he would randomly punctuate his dialogue with sounds like BAM, ZAP, BOOM, and KAZOWI. I personally found this more tolerable than Wheelie's rhyming, but quite honestly, not by much. I would have been just as happy if they left that out of the cartoon, but I know that there are Transformers fans out there that really liked it, so it is what it is. Here's the card back that came with mine back in 1985. The Toys R Us price tag says that it retailed for $2.97 US at the time. Fast forward to 2019, and if you can find it, the Walmart reissue retails for $7.86 US or $11.97 Canadian. I'm always a big fan of the artwork of the characters on the packaging, and although they've clearly taken a few liberties with how posable the toy is in the drawing, I think that they've done an admirable job of making the robot look a lot more interesting on the card back. At least in the case of my release, Warpath was packaged in robot mode. On the back of the card, there's a tiny version of the iconic artwork that would have appeared on the larger boxes for the 1985 Transformers lineup, including the Dinobots, Insecticons, Shockwave, and Jetfire. The figure doesn't come with a separate instruction booklet because the transformation steps are outlined on the back of the box. As in the case of most of the original Minibots, it just takes a few steps to convert the figure from one mode to another. Here's the character's tech specs and bio. I don't have a red decoder handy to show you the tech specs, but I'll give his bio a quick read. Warpath's function is warrior. His motto, a good shot is worth more than a good intention. His bio reads, thinks he's more impressive than his comrades do, likes to show off his sharpshooting, boisterous, loudmouthed sense of humor makes him welcome company, vain, upset by even the smallest scratch to his gun barrel, can go 30 miles per hour over the roughest terrain, hit a hex nut 1.5 miles away, shoots explosives, thermal cryogenic acid sonic shells, great strength, but helpless if upended. Now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at the figure in alt mode. Warpath is a small red and gray tank, which I think works well for the figure in vehicle mode. Just for a little bit of fun, I googled military tank and didn't see one real-world tank come up with this color scheme in the search results, for obvious reasons, but again, I do think that it looks really good here. There's a ton of excellent molded details that I think really stand out, including on the hatch where the driver would access the vehicle, all around the outside of the turret, and there are panel lines along the sides of the vehicle. There's actually a molded tank tread that goes all the way around the wheel section, and each wheel has 6 molded rivets, which really make the tank mode look realistic. The front side of the vehicle has a heat-activated rub sign, which I've always liked having on my vintage Transformers, but we'll take a closer look at that shortly. The right side of the tank is of course identical to the left side that we just looked at, and the back side of the figure isn't compromised in any way, which is always a nice bonus. The gray sections on the treads and on the back do a nice job of breaking up the color a little bit, and the top view shows off more of those fantastic molded details. The underside of the vehicle has 3 small plastic wheels that theoretically should allow the tank to roll, but at least with mine the toy just sort of slides along when I push it, and aside from the occasional squeak, the wheels don't really do anything at all. Here you can pause the video and take a closer look at the manufacturer stamp if you like. The one really nice thing about even the underside of the tank mode is the fact that there are no visible robot parts to give away the fact that it's actually a robot in disguise. Overall, I think that the tank mode here is excellent given the size of the figure. In alt mode, the turret will rotate a full 360 degrees. Moving the turret out of the way, we can take a closer look at the heat-activated rub sign, which is designed differently than the ones on the 2018 and 2019 Walmart G1 reissues. Now I'm going to try to activate the rub sign using pressure and heat from my thumb. Sometimes this is enough to activate it, but in this case it looks like I'm going to have to give it a good rub to try to get it working on camera. The rub sign reveals a nice green Autobot faction symbol, which will change a few different colors on its way back to its neutral position. Rub signs were supposed to act as proof of authenticity and help differentiate legitimate Transformers from a sea of knockoffs that hit the market around the same time in the 1980s to cash in on the hype and popularity of the Transformers at the time. Now we'll get into the transformation. Start off by lifting the hatch on top to reveal the robot head. Rotate the entire back section up 90 degrees to reveal his shoulders, chest, and midsection. Pull the front section of the tank to free up his robot feet, then rotate the entire back section up 90 degrees. Pull the arms out at the sides. This is actually a step that a lot of people forget to do for some reason. Then position the arms slightly upwards to give them a bit more of a distinction from his body. Slide the turret back a little bit, and that's it for the transformation. And now we'll take a look at the figure in robot mode. I think he has a decent head sculpt, but let's be honest here, having a tank turret for a chest really makes this figure suffer, especially with no way of collapsing the gun section into the chest to improve the overall look of the figure. I can live with the overdeveloped triceps since they aren't too noticeable from the front, but it would have been much better if the feet actually separated, even with a metal pin holding them together in the center, just to give the figure more of a humanoid look. I love G1 Transformers, and even this robot mode has a certain charm to it, but if I'm looking at it objectively, the robot mode is pretty weak, and quite honestly worse than many of the robot modes of similar-sized GoBots figures that we saw at the time. The articulation here is of course very limited. The head will move up and down 90 degrees. The chest section will rotate a full 360 degrees, although I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. The arms will rotate a full 360 degrees as well. And I guess you could say he has ankle articulation, allowing him to rotate backward and forward 90 degrees. And that's it for articulation. Alright guys, here we are with the figure back in alt mode, and I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. In conclusion, would I recommend adding a G1 Warpath to your collection? Well, the tank mode is pretty solid, but the robot mode honestly leaves a lot to be desired. I'd say if you can get the Walmart G1 reissue for retail price or better, then why not add this fun and inexpensive piece of Transformers history to your collection? But I honestly wouldn't pay aftermarket prices for it. Anyways, thanks again for watching everyone. Take care.